For all your racing news, log on to our website at SpeedVision.com.
This SpeedVision News Update is sponsored by SpeedVision.com. NASCAR Winston Cup driver Kenny Irwin was killed on Friday while practicing for this weekend's race at New Hampshire International Speedway. The crash occurred in Turn 3, almost the identical spot on the track that claimed the life of Adam Petty on May 12th of this year. Irwin was extracted from the overturned car and transported to Concord Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Kenny Irwin was 30 years old.
Summertime. Yes! It's time for the Eastwood Insurance Sizzling Summer Sale. Save today. Call 1-800-468-LASS. Why pay more? Chill with Eastwood. Get the lowest down payment, the lowest monthly payment. Burned by a bad driving record? Ouch! Keep cool. Call Eastwood today. 1-800-468-LASS. It's the Eastwood Insurance Sizzling Summer Sale.
Be cool. Get Eastwood.
Eastwood! Call 1-800-468-LASS.
Welcome to Lime Rock Park for round 3 of the SpeedVision Touring Car Championship. Let's get right to the Audi track map. The track length is 1.5 miles and has 7 turns. Many of the drivers talked about how they have to keep their momentum up around the course.
The more we have to slow down, the worse it is. The more we can roll through a turn without having to carry the brake, the better.
Well, this track's not really a horsepower track. It's more handling than anything, so it might help us get through traffic a little better if we've got a little bit more torque, but I think the cars that can really handle the best coming down the hill and up the back hill, they're going to do the up in the front. It's not really horsepower, I don't think, here.
There's no doubt we're at a disadvantage because it's all momentum. I mean, I don't have the luxury of torque. You know, I can't, if I get out of the throttle, I'm done.
This is one of the most difficult tracks, probably on all the circuits we'll run, to pass. And so this is a momentum track, and if a lot of people have momentum, top 12 cars are within a second of one another. So if you don't qualify well, so you better look for a clean lap in qualifying. If you don't qualify well, you're going to have a problem.
In qualifying, Neil Sapp had a problem in the TC Klein BMW and was told that his day was over. So it looked as though the real-time Acura team had locked up the top 3 grid positions. But in a last-minute effort, Sapp's car was fixed and he grabbed the pole position on the final lap of qualifying.
The throttle broke. I drifted in, luckily made it in. TC, they took a look at it, said, shut it off. You're done for today. I kept pleading on the radio, you sure you can't do something? Craig said, wait a minute, let me take a look. Gave me a thumbs up. I put the helmet back on and went out and got like 2 laps. I'm just shocked that we're on the pole.
As we look at the BMW starting grid, alongside our pole sitter Neil Sapp is Pierre Kleinubing in the buysellerhold.com Acura. Row 2, Hugh Plum and Kevin Schrantz in 2 more of the buysellerhold.com Acuras. Row 3, Paul Alderman in the European Racing Technologies BMW, and Mike Fitzgerald in the ProPartsUSA.net BMW. Row 4, Bob Nagel in the 4th buysellerhold.com Acura, and Don Salama in the Turner Motorsport BMW. As we look at the rest of the starting grid, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, Greg and Dorsey will join us for the action.
My credit was downright bad.
Most companies wouldn't even talk to me about a credit card.
No one would give me a credit card unless I already had one.
Ever tried renting a car without a credit card? Now that's humiliating.
I'm thinking these mistakes are gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. Providian was the only company willing to take a chance on me.
such a relief to finally have a credit card. And the fees are easy to handle.
All I did was apply over the phone, and there it was. My card with my name on it, mailed right to me.
After making a few payments, I got even more credit. And let me tell you how great it feels to put my card down on the counter and say, I'll take it.
My friends couldn't believe I got a $1,000 credit limit. They're all, what's that phone number? Hey, I deserve this credit.
The Visa Classic card from Providian. Apply right now over the phone and get up to $1,000 in credit. And you can earn even more credit after just a few payments. It's never been easier to get the credit you deserve. So call for your Visa Classic card now.
I love working here. It's exciting, feeling like we're changing things for the better. At Zurich Direct, there are no surprises. You call us and we give you a free quote on high-quality term life insurance with no strings attached. And these rates are up to 70% less than what some other insurers charge. I mean, why pay more than you have to?
Hi, thank you for calling Zurich Direct. This is Wendy. How may I help you?
It really is simple.
Well, Mr. Madden, you're 42 in good health and you don't smoke? That's great. A 10-year, $250,000 policy is just $23 a month, and your rate is guaranteed.
Everybody has questions when they call in. They want to know they're doing business with the right company. You'd be amazed how many letters we get from people just saying thanks.
Well, you can choose a 5, 10, 15, or 20.
Coverage can start in just a few
Sure, I
weeks.
can help you with that. I'll just...
Absolutely. I think everyone should call Zurich Direct. But then again, I'm probably a little partial.
Call 1-800-330-8167. Zurich Direct, a unit of Zurich Kemper Life.
The SpeedVision World Challenge is brought to you by Toyota. Live a little every day.
A beautiful Memorial Day weekend here at Lime Rock Park, and on the grid are the SpeedVision touring cars for the World Challenge Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Kramer, along with Dorsey Schrader. In the pits again will be John Bizignano and Calvin Fish. And Dorsey, these touring cars and Lime Rock Park, that combination always produces nothing short of spectacular excitement.
You talk about close racing, Greg. 13 cars qualified within the same second, and a surprise BMW in front of the Acuras.
And again, 41 some odd cars. It is going to be a huge field. Now, let's take a look at our Paxil storylines. First of all, traffic is certainly going to play a huge role. Also, strategy, how you deal with things. We're going to hear about that from John Bizignano. Then we have real-time parity between that team and then, as Dorsey mentioned, that BMW on pole. Some great stories. For more on our Paxil storylines, let's first go down to the pits and John Bizignano. Biz?
Well, Greg, you're absolutely right. Every touring car driver I spoke to mentioned two things to me: traffic and momentum. 41 cars entered this race to go racing on a 1.5-mile circuit. That's heavy traffic. And many times there's only one line through the corners. These slower cars just can't disappear to let the fast boys through. Now, during all this traffic, you still have to maintain your momentum. It's absolutely essential to go fast. It's almost like a chess game. For a strategy here, you have to maintain your momentum within a lot of traffic. This is going to be great. Now, Calvin Fish has another story.
Well, yesterday in qualifying, Biz, we had some real drama occur. With about 3 minutes left in the session, the timesheets were headed by 3 real-time Acuras, led by Pierre Kleinubing. Those boys were separated by less than 1/10 of a second. Then Neil Sapp had his drama. First, the throttle cable broke, as we saw in the open. Then they cobbled it together. He had 2 laps to do it. And boy, did he put together a storming lap, setting a new track record. What's remarkable is he broke a streak of 23 events where the Acuras have set on the pole. Personal run at 7. The interesting thing this afternoon is whether Neil Sapp, with his front-wheel drive experience, can take the rear-wheel drive BMW to victory ahead of those front-wheel drive Acuras. It's going to be a barnstormer, guys. Back up top to Dorsey and Greg.
Calvin Barnstormer is absolutely what this is going to be. And Neil Sapp, a reigning SCCA National Amateur Champion. Dorsey's got all the credentials, certainly, to get the job done. Let's take a look at our onboards. First of all, starting in 15th, the 00 patented Acura of Mark Reed. That's the car Mike Galati won the championship with last year. Starting in the 13th spot, we'll be on board with number 80. That's Ken Dobson in the Reed Pontiac Sunfire GT, a winner last year in the hands of a very experienced driver as well. Now, in the 12th spot, number 8 is Taz Harvey in the Dublin Honda dealership Acura. He has been very quick already this season. Starting in the 6th spot will be the number 12. We'll be on board with Mike Fitzgerald. That's the ProPartsUSA.net BMW. Starting in 5th, the guy who holds the GT2 Club Racing lap record here, Paul Alderman, in the European Racing Technologies BMW, the number 50 entry, and will also be on board with the driver starting 4th, number 44, Kevin Schrantz, in the BuySellerHold.com Acura, one of those those three that Calvin was alluding to, Dorsey, that were so very close in qualifying before Sapp popped up out of nowhere. And Pierre Kleinubing, the point leader, he has had really a perfect season coming in until this race. He had both poles, led every lap, led most laps, and the win, and he's parked.
That is at the exit of the uphill, looking backwards at it. He came up the uphill, has pulled the car off the track. He has a mechanical problem. We hear a broken axle. Look at the left rear possibly, but I don't think that's it. Broken axle must be up front.
Oh, for Pierre Kleinubing, what a huge blow. Calvin, he's out of the car.
Well, he is, and his day is done. We just spoke to Jerome Zimmerman. He said he's out of it. The half shaft is broken. The day is done. It's now down to Plum and Schrantz to see if they can score a victory ahead of that BMW.
Well, Dorsey, that's one thing we really haven't talked about too much as you're looking at Jerome. This track, it's short and it's fast, but it is bumpy, and you get that light coming up over that rise, it can chew up driveline.
And the warm-up, of course, you're doing little burnouts and you're really scrubbing, and it puts a lot of strain, and it broke that half shaft. He's out of the thing, and this will break a half shaft too. We're talking about a standing start, Greg, in any minute now.
It is going to be awesome. We're watching. There's the green flag at the back of the grid. That's the indication the grid is clear and ready. Let's just listen in. There's the board. Enjoy this. Standing starts. Some banging and bumping back behind the first couple rows. And Dorsey, the rear drive, that weight transfer in the BMW paid off, and a big bump right there.
Oh, it's going to cause a big backup. Look right there, one of the Turner Motorsports cars off on the right. We got cars off on the left. The Acura, of course, front-wheel drive. Look at all of the melee back here. It's still happening. There's cars in the grass both sides.
That may have been Don Salama, who had a great launch in the BMW, but then got caught up with one of those Acuras. That is Salama. He is now off the track.
Well, that all started on the start. We saw a couple BMWs get nailed in the back and turn sideways. Got turned one down there, and it all bunched up, bottlenecked, and it all started pushing and shoving.
And look at the lead as a result. Neil Sapp has been able to open up in this opening half a lap a humongous margin over the next two real-time racing Biseller Hold Acuras. There is Sapp, and there's nobody behind him, and it was all that bumping going on behind him earlier.
Well, they made a big mistake letting Neil Sapp get that far out in front. I guarantee you that. He knows this place very well. He drove a great lap in qualifying, and he's got a big lead. Right now, the Acuras fighting each other for second place. That's not going to help their cause.
Side by side down in a big bend, pass made cleanly. And that is Schrantz, who just gave up the spot to Hugh Plum. What they need to do, really, Dorsey, is work together as we watch as they're sweeping by awfully close to Salama. But these two really need to work together now.
One of the Turner Motorsports BMWs parked on the outside of Big Bend, and the driver was out with a worker. That could precipitate a, that Salama over there, that could precipitate a yellow flag, because it's a very dangerous place to have that car parked.
Meanwhile, on board with Schrantz as he's following teammate Hugh Plum. This is the climbing turn, and there is that rise. Even these cars right there, see, they get very light over that. Now, let's go back and take a look at a replay of the start. It was pretty fraught.
Well, looking about the fourth row, if there is such a thing, and you start seeing all kind of bumping going on. But right here, look, the BMW gets into the back of the Acura. Acura front-wheel drive pulls it straight, hits the BMW, spins it. Now look to the left. There's a car out on the left-hand side. Nowhere can see right now, so everybody's on the brakes. We'll have another look at this. There's just a lot going on in a very small spot. On board now.
Salama started 8th, and he got a huge start. Now we're on board with Harvey, and he gets bumped right there. There's Salama. He tried to get inside.
Look at the fiberglass. Fenders flying, bumpers flying. Everybody fighting for position. One more time, we look for Mike Fitzgerald's car. He's on the outside. This all happens to the inside.
He's the guy, I think, that ends up on the outside of Big Ben. Watch.
He's going to get...
Well, nice save by Fitzgerald to be able to hang on to that car and continue. Salama got it straightened out, went across track, and then parked, and you called it full course yellow.
Yeah, the pace car did come out, because I think that we'll find that they'll have to remove that car from the outside of Big Bend, because that's where all the cars tend to want to be anyway, out there in the dirt. We already seen that happen.
Well, standing starts were brought into the series to up the excitement level just a little bit, as if the touring cars needed it, but it's living up to its name. Full course yellow. We'll be back.
Now get Touched by Love, a new 36-song collection of the most popular soft rock hits.
I love you. I honestly love you. Sometimes when we touch,
You'll feel the magic
of love in every song. Touched by Love is not sold in stores, so order now. Call toll-free now for Touched by Love. 2 cassettes $19.98, 2 CDs $26.98, plus $4.95 shipping. Call now.
This weekend, watch the Boys of Summer hit the Laguna Seca Corkscrew at the International Superbike Classic. Then, push it to the ragged edge with British touring cars from England. And shift gears with the best of American Le Mans as the Audis continue their Le Mans charge at the Nürburgring. That's the International Superbike Classic at Laguna Seca. British touring cars and American Le Mans series from the Nürburgring on SpeedVision.
Be there.
Welcome back to Lime Rock, and you see the wounded H&R Springs BMW of Don Salama. Of course, they finally got him moved from the area, but he was the outside the first turn, and it all was precipitated here. We're on board with Mark Reed at the start, Dorsey.
Watch this business going on up here. This is great standing start footage right here. The yellow car goes across in front, but look way up front. The bumping has started. We're not even in turn one. Now, of course, the bumping is in full earnest. A lot of driving going on right here.
Well, I'll take a look at that again, but meanwhile, we are back and underway, and Sapp, that huge advantage he had, has evaporated. Look at this, 4 abreast. We're on board with Harvey through Big Bend.
Well, that's okay where they're at right now, but when they get to right here, they better get it all straightened out. And look, they did it.
Unbelievable. Now, looks right there like Sapp is leaving a huge opening, but if you try and dive inside there, you're absolutely killed when you get onto that back straight.
There's Alderman in there, too, doing well. Of course, he's pretty much local at this racetrack. His dad used to run here all the time. Like you said, he's GT2 track champion, and so he knows his way around here.
There's Sapp. There is Hugh Plum and Schranz and the real-time machines and the rest of the field streaming through. There's the BBS Wheels entry of Peter Schwartzad, who's got a lot of laps here as well. Very close racing as they head into West Bend. There's number 45, another of the actors. Actually, that's 46, Nagel, who had some problems as well in the opening lap, has now continued. And the rest of the pack streaming through. Look at them bouncing as they come down and hit the apex of the diving turn.
That's how rough this place is. It's really rough right now. We've got a contest going into turn one again. Now, you can run through here side by side with help from the other driver, but I tell you what, it slows you down once everybody closes right in behind, so you don't want to do that very often.
As you can see, Plum took the runner on the outside of Sapp, and Schranz tried to do exactly what you said, Dorsey, as he tried to close it up and make something of it. Couldn't quite get it done. Dobson is absolutely flying in that blue and white Pontiac Sunfire. He is very quick right now. Is up into 4th, and Fitzgerald is 5th.
Dobson came up here and works for Skip Barber, came in and did a 3-day school as an instructor to get some time on this racetrack because he's never been here before. So he was very smart in coming in and doing some laps.
And earlier, before the start, we saw Pierre Kleinubing park it. He's made the long walk back to the pits. Cal?
Well, championship leader Pierre Kleinubing is back in the pits. Pierre, it's 1997 when you had your last mechanical DNF. Bumpy tracks here in motorsport. Do you think that was a factor today?
I think the standing stars caused that. It was a CV problem, and something I've never experienced before, and Hugh had a problem last time in the motorsport, and now I guess it's my turn here. But I'm going to be back at serious points for sure.
He's determined this year, guys, but he brought up a very good point. That's a new standing start procedure, and the guys are really going to have to rethink some of the engineering and some of the mechanical parts on these race cars.
Well, Calvin, that's a good point. As we're on board with Mike Fitzgerald, when they leave Dorsey for that formation lap, they practice the start. They'll light them up to try and get a feel for what's going on. That puts a lot of strain on those drivelines.
Yeah, you don't want to do a lot of them. It's hard on those, he was talking about the CV joint. It's hard on that. It's hard on the half shaft, hard on the clutch. And he alluded to the fact that that's 2 of them now in 2 races that they've lost. So obviously a weak link that they're going to have to address.
Been following that battle. There's Dobson right behind him is Fitzgerald. Those two having a great scrap for fourth. And you can see Dobson in that Pontiac Sunfire. That car looks a little loose. And Al, that's Paul Ackroyd in the H&R Springs entry. Peter Ackroyd, excuse me.
I hated to say that, but why does we were coming out of that picture? I thought, sorry, there's a change of the lead. Look at it anyway.
Yes, but they've been side by side heading into Big Bend almost every lap. And they open up a little bit of a margin over Schranz. And as you said, Darcy, they start duking it out going into Big Bend. And that allows Schranz to just close right in. There's the change as Fitzgerald going into Big Bend was able to get around Dobson, picked up fourth. We're on board now with Dobson. But Fitzgerald is by him.
Got to wonder now about Ackroyd's car up there if they're going to bring another caution out because of that and stack this field up again. That car was tore up pretty good. It didn't look like it was going to roll anywhere. I don't know if they're going to say if that's in a safe place or a not safe place.
Peter Ackroyd filling that seat. A lot of experience years ago in Australian and New Zealand touring car racing, but he hasn't raced for a while. Came on this year, and he said it's been a learning experience. The cars have changed quite a bit, and he's just trying to make the adjustment. And was feeling a lot more comfortable at Mosport, but having problems early here. Up front, it is still Neil Sapp, and then the attack by Real-Time Racing in second and third.
Uniroyal tires with nail guard seal most tread punctures instantly, permanently, and repeatedly. Nail guard tires, only from Uniroyal.
This FIA World Rally moment is brought to you by Subaru. Monte Carlo was the site for the opening round of the 2000 FIA World Rally Championship. The man to beat was defending champ Tommy Mäkinen, and he proved it by overcoming Richard Burns' 6-second lead to win the first leg. He also won leg 2, but was followed closely by Carlos Sainz less than 2 minutes back. But in the end, Sainz and his teammate Juha Kankinen were left to battle for second as Mäkinen cruised to his second straight win at Monte Carlo.
We got movement! Go, go, go! Hang on, Light.
The next generation Subaru Outback comes standard with full-time all-wheel drive.
There it is! Over there!
It delivers incredible traction and control.
Whoa, I see it!
So you can always be ready to face the unknown.
Did you see the size of that thing?
Yeah. They're kind of cute when they're babies.
Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon from Subaru.
OLN is your ticket to adventure to the amazing Himalayas. To find out where, watch OLN's exclusive primetime coverage of the Ray Gawaz, August 23rd at 8. For details and to enter, click on away.com, and away you'll go.
Welcome back to Lime Rock. We're a quarter of the way through. 10 of 40 laps complete. The battle at the front continues with Neil Sapp, a rookie in this category of racing, but a very talented driver holding on over Hugh Plum. Schratz, his teammate, Plum's teammate, has dropped back a little bit, but then it's Sapp's teammate and the other ProPartsUSA.net machine has moved up into fourth.
Well, it's obvious Mitch Wright, who is a technical administrator of this series, has done a good job now of getting these BMWs up to speed. Of course, we've seen the Acuras dominate for the last several years. Now we have a parity of cars from different teams that are running very, very well this weekend. Unfortunately, the Turner Motorsports guys have had a bad day.
It's been a tough run for them. There is that battle, and this time Hugh Plum got a great run in the downhill, the diving turn.
Watch it, here he comes. He's thinking. He is definitely thinking. He'll make it a very late move if he does it. Goes to the outside. It might be a fake. No, not quite enough. The BMW should have a little power. Boy, you know, you can go underneath the guy right there, but I don't think Sapp's going to give him enough room to stick the nose in there.
Well, if you do that move, though, it has to be decisive and get in there right now. Otherwise, they're going to come across.
Yeah, they will, and then usually end up with a door-to-door bump there anyway if you do that. But I thought he was going to look at it that time. Plum looks to me like he's being pretty patient.
Looks like Plum might be setting him up just a little bit because he's done that every lap. As soon as Sapp moves to the middle, Plum kind of drifts back to the left, maybe thinking that he's going to try and figure out a way to get that move done. There they come over that rise.
See the wiggle there? They got that wiggle coming over the top because they're very, very light, and they've got some steering. They've got too much front steering in, and when the front end unloads, it turns the car on the back wheels. It turns it to the right usually.
Well, we mentioned Neil Sapp, a rookie in World Challenge competition, but Biz, this guy has definitely got some laps.
Well, he does have some laps, and in fact, when I asked him what was your biggest advantage here, he said it's the fact that I've been here 6 times. He says that is absolutely imperative to doing well. But one thing he's worried about about is long greens. He wants some yellows. The heavier BMW uses up a little bit more tire, and he's worried about on the long greens he's being able to not be able to have the handling that gives him the momentum on that straightaway.
Well, he's playing it to perfection right now. You saw some debris on the track from one of the cars, and that's off to the edge.
But it said genuine Honda parts on it, and that's what I was pointing out, that there was a genuine Honda part laying right there in the middle of the straightaway. That's a rear bumper cover off one of the cars, so someone's been in contact with someone. Oh, BMW off. That's the uphill. That's Sapp on the uphill. Good save. That's a very scary moment right there.
Now, that could really affect his momentum, but he was able to get back in front of Plum before Plum could do much with it. And that may have cost Plum a little momentum, too. Now, they run a...
loose again.
They run a street tire. I was wondering, that dirtied up his tires. He could be a bit of a sitting duck.
Well, it would have dirtied him up for about a half a lap, and that could be what you're seeing right now. But I'll tell you what, that all was perpetrated by coming up that hill with too much steering in. And when he got to the top, the front wheels got light, and the car turned, like I was saying just before, on the rear tires, and it put him out in that field. We've seen huge wrecks when that happens, and he is under big pressure. Look here now, one of the real-time cars, he moves out of the way.
Fred Meyer.
That's Fred Meyer, and he got out of the way. He wasn't playing team stuff. He could have held up the progress there if he wanted.
So Sapp's definitely feeling the pressure from Plum and Schrantz, then Fitzgerald, then it's Dobson and the Pontiac continuing to run in fifth. But we've got a great intra-team, if you will, battle between the two.
See, he hit the curve right there. Yeah. And there's another mistake. Neil Sapp hit the apex curve, loosened the BMW up. And any little, at Lime Rock, you do that kind of stuff very often, and this place will bite you. You get off the racetrack here, you don't come back.
And Calvin Sapp has been very strong, but that car looking a little bit loose.
Well, it is. I just booked the TC, and he said, yeah, the car has definitely gotten loose. And remember, we said he's used to driving front-wheel drive race cars. This may be a handful for him, but TC's having a good day. He's got 3 cars in the top 10. Fitzgerald runs 4th, and Shauna McManus is doing a great job back in 9th. She's the first woman to have ever won an open class in the solo class form of racing. She has a lot of car control, TC said. Hopefully, she'll have the patience to maintain it through to the checkered flag here today. She said she's very impatient. She wants to be running up front.
Well, when you've won championships before, you expect to be running up front, but she's got great potential. We have a full course yellow, and that may be just what the doctor ordered for Neil Sapp. Plum and Schrantz probably a little frustrated. We'll be back.
Max Life presents this Mark Martin moment.
The greatest active NASCAR Winston Cup driver yet to win a championship is Mark Martin. He entered his first NASCAR Winston Cup race in 1981. In 1998, Martin had perhaps his finest season. He won 7 times, netted 22 top 5s, brought home more than $3 million in prize money, and finished 2nd in the overall standings.
I like new things, especially when they get old.
Like keeping things around? Good news. Introducing Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. Max Life conditions use seals to help prevent leaks and helps keep your high mileage engine performing for a long, long time.
Son, another 100,000 miles and this baby will be yours.
You have entered the racing news and information superhighway, SpeedVision News Race Week. An in-depth coverage by those experts who live it. Get the inside line on SpeedVision News Race Week every week. Sunday nights, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific.
More Trans Am action on SpeedVision will be coming your way Monday, June 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The SCCA Trans Am at Detroit, known as the Motor City 100, or this year the Johnson Controls 100. Dorsey, you get to go watch and talk about some Trans Am action in one of their great events.
Detroit's their big one. It's the Super Bowl. I've won that one a couple times. The most important race on the schedule for those guys. Don't forget to watch that one.
Absolutely. We are still under yellow. And we get the indication, though, one more lap of yellow, and then we should be going back to green. There is the indication from our starter. So one more lap here at Lime Rock. This is wire yellow. Watch the red number 17, the American Honda machine of Grant Lockwood. Going into turn 1, and there's a little bit of action happening. Spin. He gets collected, and this is what happened later on, Dorsey.
Well, take that. There's your bumper. And look at the guy in the BMW. Hey, quit throwing stuff on the racetrack. That's littering, and they don't take kindly to that up here at Lime Rock. So, unfortunately, that doesn't hurt the car at all. I mean, it just the cover, and it's out of there.
That's true. This is a park, after all. You don't want to litter in it.
No littering. There's a fine for that.
Now, we talked as we went to break of the fact that Neil Sapp was really going bad loose on that car, and his tires possibly going up. Watch this.
There's your uphill look. I told you, see, he had too much steering. It snatched off to the left. He's all four wheels in the dirt. Really lucky guy to get that back on the racetrack. And look, he moves strategically right in front of the Acura, so it couldn't get inside for West Bend.
Now on board with Kevin Schranz. Watch as he gets light. Hear that? And there's the loosens, but you hear that? I mean, he hit the rev limiter.
Yeah, he had the front tires up in the air, had the rev limiter hitting, banging on that. And that means they are getting airborne at the top.
Boy, I'll tell you, for the other competitors in this series, when T.C. Klein decided to make a serious effort, this guy has had nothing but success. And T.C. Klein's been fast, but Calvin Hugh Plum has been merciless in his pressure.
Well, I just spoke to TC, and what happened there is they're very fortunate with this yellow flag. It's going to help cool the rear tire temperatures, but he said it's also going to help the Acuras. He said we're relying on that left rear. Their left front does all of the work around this place. It'll be interesting to see when they go back to green. Biz?
Right now, the green flag is out, guys, and that BMW is certainly pulling away from the Acura, but the BMW is worried about his tires. Even though that they've had some yellow flags, he still feels that the handling is going away from underneath him.
Side by side, guys, through the Big Bend, the turn one here. It's really 1 and 2, if you will, and Sapp survived it, but Hugh Plum, I don't think he's going to waste a whole lot of time, as we're almost at halfway, Dorothy, and if he can keep the pressure on and run the tires off that Bimmer in a hurry, that's going to really play into his hands.
Well, Neil got a close look at the fact that he had his foe right in his hands there. He really had him wounded, and the tire was slipping on the back of the BMW, and he was putting the pressure on, so he's going to do the same thing again. You can count on that. Here he is right now, pressuring the BMW.
Well, and actually Plum a little loose as he set up for that. Approached the right-hander leading into the climbing turn, and was able to stay with it. That's one of the nice things. The back end steps out, and he's got a run on him.
But it's a bad place to make a pass, though, because third place should go up the inside. Now turn to the right. Schranz can take both these guys if he wants to. That slowed him up at the apex. That's a bad place to make a pass. Watch now.
Sapp got a run on him as the exited, though.
Watch now. We got 3 wide. We got to see it bottled everybody up.
And Fitzgerald trying to go around Schranz with 3 abreast in the Big Bend. And the 2 Acuras now lead it. Sapp, and look at Dobson. Huge loose in the Sunfire. The Pontiac, he saved it. On board with Dobson right now. He's trying to take advantage of opportunity. And I mentioned earlier that this car has had some success, and it was tweaked by another very, very talented World Challenge driver, Chuck Hemmingson. Did a lot of development work on that Sunfire, so you know it's pretty well massaged.
Well, every time you see the front 2 cars in front of you go side by side and attempt to run down the downhill, you got to lift off the throttle so you can do it flat out. They cannot do it flat when they're side by side, and that stacks the field all up. It's a very bad place to take an opportunistic pass.
Oh, and Sapp tried to repass Plum. Schranz snuck through as well. And that's just what the Acuras wanted to do. Now work together, try and open up a bit of a margin over these BMWs. And the BMWs are now having to fight from the rear, and they can't control the pace that way, and that means they're going to put more rear tire time, and now they're fighting each other as well. So the further they go, the more the slip is going to happen at the back of those cars. And closing up, by the way, at Dobson, number 50, Paul Alderman, in the European Racing Technologies BMW is coming on strong, and a great story building is number 23, Terry McCarthy, started 14th in the last minute racing BMW, is now in a 7th spot with Paz Harvey 8th, Shauna Marinus 9th, and Alfred Dupont, the number 51 BMW. Remember the problem he had in the opening lap? He's back into the top 10, and Harvey really working hard here. That's McCarthy right in front. They are side by side, and Harvey slices through. That's no name straightaway, and it's okay to be side by side, but it's very tenuous right there because it's not a straight straightaway. But Taz did a good job. He got it clearly done before the turn-in for the uphill, so it didn't cost him momentum, which is what this place is all about. The Dublin Honda, Tracy Honda dealerships actor and Tager of Harvey, and he is the all-time leader in career World Challenge starts with 72, more than anybody else. So his experience paying off. He's been around Lime Rock a few times in that Honda, or that Acura, I should say. Yes, he has. Look at this. The BMWs are really hurting their cause, and because these two are running out of the same stable, TC Klein stable. They need to not be beating each other up. They need to work on those Acuras, not on one another. And Harvey now has quickly caught Alderman, and that's the battle for 6th. And Harvey really on the move. Here's that's 1st through 4th, then it's Dobson. Then right behind them is Alderman and Harvey. It's a great battle. Now we're on board with Mike Fitzgerald, sits in the 4th spot in that TC Klein BMW. Watch where we go up the uphill now, Greg, and see if we can hear that thing get airborne. You turn in here, get back on the throttle, and we're not on board anymore, so you can't see it. Anyway. Here's Harvey. Harvey now, he's taking a run, trying to get around Alderman. Couldn't get it done there. But he is working very well as he comes on to No Name and into the climbing turn. Now watch, he's going to go up the inside. Alderman just collected a curb. Harvey's taking a run. Not this time. We'll be right back.
The zero-pressure Michelin, so revolutionary it won't go flat, even with a puncture the size of a golf ball, letting you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour. Just what you'd expect from Michelin.
I love working here. It's exciting, feeling like we're changing things for the better. At Zurich Direct, there are no surprises. You call us and we give you a free quote on high-quality term life insurance with no strings attached. And these rates are up to 70% less than what some other insurers charge. I mean, why pay more than you have to?
Hi, thank you for calling Zurich Direct. This is Wendy. How may I help you?
It really is simple.
Well, Mr. Madden, you're 42 in good health and you don't smoke? That's great. A 10-year, $250,000 policy is just $23 a month, and your rate is guaranteed.
Everybody has questions when they call in. They want to know they're doing business with the right company. You'd be amazed how many letters we get from people just saying thanks.
Well, you can choose a 5, 10, 15, or 20.
Coverage can start in just a few weeks.
Sure, I can help you with that. I'll just...
Absolutely. I think everyone should call Zurich Direct. But then again, I'm probably a little partial.
Call 1-800-330-8167. Zurich Direct, a unit of Zurich Kemper Life.
There's country music, and then there's real country music.
Drink my beer at a tavern, try a little bit of them working man blues. I got swinging.
And son, Merle Haggard is the real thing.
At a bar stool.
Now, for the first time, you can get Merle's biggest hits on one collection. It's Merle Haggard live at Billy Bob's, Texas.
I'm a trying to make me better.
Not only do you get Merle's classics, you'll get his new hit single, Motorcycle Cowboy.
I'm a motorcycle cowboy, and she's my stringy head blonde. That's the way love goes.
Recorded at the world's largest honky-tonk, Merle has never sounded better. Merle Haggard, live at Billy Bob's, Texas, is available in stores everywhere. Or call or log on now.
Welcome back past the halfway point here in the SpeedVision Touring Car Championship at Lime Rock. And the one BMW had been there for a while, but notice the number 80 Pontiac Sunfire of Ken Dobson. He is out of the race. The report is a broken throttle cable. And Dorsey, that's the third of the weekend that we've heard about in races so far. We were talking drive lines, gearboxes, all kinds of stuff. Throttle cable's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, obviously if it's the third one, he's going over center. There's no throttle stop, and he's really pushing hard, trying to go fast, and it's stretching the cable and breaking it. So they're going to have to fix that before the next race.
Now, we're on board here with Kevin Schranz and the buysellerhold.com Acura, and we're going to stay on board here to follow him around. But the real thing, Dorsey, is when he goes up and over the climbing turn rise.
It's right here. This is the end of No Name Straight. Watch him turn in, go to full power. Now, as he climbs the hill, he's going to do a wheelie. Watch this. Right here. Oh, you see, the problem with the front-wheel drive when you do a wheelie is the wheels are in the air. And what you heard was the rev limiter banging along there. A rear-wheel drive car could actually blow over because the rear-wheel drives are still pushing it, and it pushes the nose up high. These guys doing wheelies over the top of the uphill.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a touring car division. It gives you an idea of the performance that they are showing nowadays. And very developed. The two Acuras from Peter Cunningham's real-time racing team, and then T.C. Klein's twin Bimmers in the background. And again, Fitzgerald taking a look, trying to find a way by Sapp.
Well, that's exactly what took Sapp off early on, was that wheelie. When he did that, he was on the rear tires only with throttle on, and the thing went off to the left side of the racetrack, got in the dirt, but it was a good save. And the race is on between his two teammates. They need to... Oh, look at that.
Wiggle there.
Sapp, big wiggle. Almost didn't get shut down for the left-hander.
Well, the indication was, of course, that he was going loose anyway, and looser than Fitzgerald. There now is number 51, Alfred DuPont. We saw earlier before he went to break, dragging a lot of body work. Well, he ducked into the pits, and they just ripped that entire rear bumper assembly right off the car. And as a result, John Bizignano, DuPont able to continue.
Well, he was able to continue. They radioed him and said, you will get the black flag if you stay out there. So they brought him in. They ripped off the back end of the car. This is all from that first contact that he had in the opening laps. He had a good run going, guys, but he's been in the pits twice. His day's over.
This is a replay as they're trying to break that bodywork loose. And
see, that's a good call, Greg, because they made him come in. If it would have been just as that plastic cover like we saw on the Honda, that's not much danger. But that big steel part that you saw there, if that came off and went through somebody's windshield, it would be very dangerous.
So good call by the officials, and nice that they gave him a warning. If you take care of it yourself, that's fine. Otherwise, we're have to bring you in. And the team responding very nicely. There's the margin between 4th and the battle in 5th. They're heading into the left-hander as the cars 5th on back are just eking their way through the exit of Big Bend. So even though we're seeing these cars being a bit loose, Dorsey, they're still obviously pretty quick.
Yeah, but I hate to say, the longer it runs green, the better these two Acuras up front look, because these guys will continue to loosen up off the back tire. You heard them talking about using the left rear, and the guys in the Acuras using the right front. Well, the right front is pulling that one car around. Left rear is driving the BMW, and it gets loose when it gets hot.
Well, Calvin, we're seeing just an indication of that. Those cars seem to be a little bit loose.
Well, they're going that way, Greg. TC Klein said, we're really not sure what to expect. We have very little miles on these cars, and we're not sure as the race progresses what we're going to see. Neil's car has definitely gone loose. I said, will there be any team orders? Mike looks like he's the quicker car. He said, I'm going to let it settle for another couple of laps. If I think Mike can make a run to the front, I might ask Neil to move over. And interestingly enough, Mike Fitzgerald has never been here before, guys. So Dorsey, as you well know, it's easy to learn this racetrack to about 90%. Those last few percent, you need some miles, and Mike's getting them in the race today.
Well, he's doing an awfully good job. He must have had some tutoring or something about Lime Rock, because he's right tucked up underneath the back of his teammate, Neil Sapp. I agree with you, Greg. I think Fitzgerald might be the quicker of the two cars, and that might tow them around better if he'd be in the front.
Well, that's borne out by lap times. Fitzgerald is the only guy to lap under a minute at a 59.7 second lap. Everybody else, their best laps at the 1 minute, 0.1 or 0.2 tenths range. So he's lapped 4/10 of a second quicker than anybody else. I think it's time. Let him through. And one, see if he can pull Sapp along, and if not, see if he can just flat run down those two real-time Acuras and do something with it. And of course, in just a few laps, it looks as though traffic could be playing a bit of a role here at Lime Rock Park. We are 3/4 of the way through 30 laps, so 40 complete here in the SpeedVision Touring Car Championship Memorial Day weekend at Lime Rock.
Now get Touched by Love, a new 36-song collection of the most popular soft rock hits.
I love you. I honestly love you.
Sometimes when we touch, you'll feel the magic of love in every song. Touched by Love is not sold in stores, so order now. Call toll-free now for Touched by Love. 2 cassettes $19.98, 2 CDs $26.98, plus $4.95 shipping. Call now.
Tomorrow night, check out some long-distance touring bikes. Then push it to the ragged edge with British Touring Cars. And it's Jeff Bridges starring in Hard Driver. That's American Thunder at 7 Eastern. British Touring Cars at 8, and Lost Drive-In at 11.
Be there.
At Lime Rock, less than 10 to go, and Hugh Plum continues to lead, and I'll tell you, John, he's going to be hitting some traffic fairly soon. This is crucial.
That's very crucial, especially around Lime Rock here. Traffic is one of the biggest problems you have, but Hugh Plum had a bigger problem in practice. Now, they've only been on the track twice, and Plum, in practice, had a broken shock the entire time. They found the problem, and then it took away some of his qualifying time while they were changing it. So he had very few laps during his qualifying. He said, John, I left time out on the circuit. I can go faster. I maybe could have gotten the pole. So right now, he's out front. He's doing exactly what the car wants to do. And with no huge traffic problems, you're going to see him making some very fast laps here, guys.
Well, he was running quickly. Now he's mired in traffic, although he did get a break, John, as he got by one of that swarm before they got into Big Bend. And and everybody else was kind of trapped behind them, and that's what they're battling with right now. And Hugh Plum now finds himself with a pretty handy little advantage. And unfortunately for Mike Fitzgerald, Dorsey, who was lapping so fast, he now has found himself losing time to Sapp in traffic. And interesting, right after I pointed out Fitzgerald, the only guy to lap under 59, the other three drivers responded all with 59.8 or 9 second laps before they hit that traffic.
I'll tell you what, when you have a loose race car, it's hard enough to run your race car on the racetrack without sliding off the outside. But when you take away a lane because there's another car there, then you really have a handful of mess. And that's what we've been looking at for the last lap, as these guys are really in heavy traffic now.
And Hugh Plum driving with exceptional calmness. In front of him, when he made that move into Big Bend last time, another car, Rick Ellinger, was spinning in the Mercedes, and Plum just calmly avoided it, kept up, made the pass, and checked out. And he continues to be catching some of this lap traffic, and just, I mean, that was perfect. Got him on the exit of the turn where it didn't hold him up. He was able to get it running it by.
Well, that's the strategy of driving, Limerock. That's why it's like a chess game. You see that you're going to catch someone, and you make sure that you only catch them in a place that you can get by them in an opportunistic way versus getting held up. Right here is a bad place. Well, that driver right there getting lapped, slowed up. You see, just moved out of the way.
Leo Capaldi, and Leo has done a lot of racing in the Pro Spec Racer Series, making the step into World Challenge. They're bringing that program along virtually by themselves. And he's a class act, and he knows that car's not developed yet, wasn't on the pace, and he almost parked it to let everybody get through.
He did the right thing. He drove off drivers right. Ooh, look right there, Kevin Schranz locking up the brake a little bit, getting into Big Bend, but he let his intentions know. He moved to the inside, and he braked and let everybody go by, which is a quite gentlemanly thing to do.
Yeah, it's the Yazaki North America Vistion and Road Effects Mercury Cougar program. Want to give them a mention because Leo is really working hard to make that car come along. As everybody else now, as we watch that battle, and really Plum has got the biggest margin he's had of a little over a second and a half.
Oh, smoke up ahead. That's one of those danger signals I'm used to seeing. When you see that and you're headed toward the uphill, you pay attention.
You know, an interesting story building as well in the 12th spot. That's Steve Lisa. He drives the number 83 patented Amsoil Mazda 626. He and Dave Rosenblum teaming up this year to bring the Mazda 626 program along. And they've generally been the fastest, the best of the rest, with the exception occasionally of that Pontiac behind the BMWs and the Acuras. He's been involved in 2 wrecks, and really neither were his fault. He said, I need to finish. More than anything, we got to get some miles on this car to learn a little bit about it. And Steve Lisa doing a great job. He owns a law firm, and they special in patent law and the like, and that's why he carries that patented on the side. And Class Act, certainly, and they're also an independent team bringing that program along. He's got some nice help from Mazda, but he said, unlike, say, the BMW M program, where you can order just these pre-built high-performance parts, they're fabricating everything on their own, and it's a slower development program.
Well, I think T.C. Klein has gotten on the horn to these two guys and said, okay, boys, either work together or get this thing worked out, because they're no longer beating each other up. The two BMWs now are running very much in tandem, close together, and I think they're starting to run down the Acura as a result.
Well, you can see Fitzgerald has closed right up on Sapp again, Calvin. The question is he going to get through?
Well, the last word from TC, he said if Mike can actually pull alongside Neil, Neil's going to let him go. But remember, guys, Neil's third in the championship. With Klein moving out and Turner not running good, he could make a big move in the points. So that may be the reluctance in switching these guys around.
We're watching him down in the Big Bend, Calvin, and although Fitzgerald got close, he didn't pop out.
That's beneficial, though. The way they're running right now, they're getting down the straightaway a little bit better than they would if they were beating each other up going sideways, trying to get into turn 1 side by side. And I think for sure that they're faster. In fact, look now how close they've gotten up to the Acura.
Yeah, they're closing in on Kevin Schranz at this rate in a big hurry. That is T.C. Klein, the team owner and the mind behind that program. And I'll tell you, for a brand new team coming into World Challenge, you've seen a lot of other new teams come in, Dorsey, and be surprised and struggle. These guys have got it right virtually right away.
Neil Sapp made a big error right there. Didn't pay the penalty for it, but he got loose on the entry to the uphill. And you're right, T.C. Klein, I can tell you one thing about that. When he gives you a race car, it's going to be right. It's going to be prepared properly. And he's a very good strategist. He's telling these guys the right stuff. And I think the two of them working together might, in fact, be able to get up to the Acura. But Sapp's car looks pretty loose to me again. He got into the uphill and had a big death wiggle right there. And that's not something you want to see.
And everybody's drawing back in on Plum. The margin down to about half a second. And T.C. Klein fielded Randy Popes in a BMW in the North American Touring Car Championship. They understand these sedans.
The family computer. It's hard to imagine a day without it, which is why more people are putting their trust in Dell. the company awarded for Best PC Reliability and Service 6 years in a row.
Computer free.
When you order a Dell Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 3 processor for $899,
I guess I'll go wash the windows.
Dell provides you with online training. And of course, you'll also get Dell's lifetime 24/7 phone and online support.
See that?
If you should need more help in your first year of ownership, Dell will even send a repair technician to your home. Dell's service and support helps you get the most out of your PC. That is, when you can get on it. Call now to own a complete Dell Dimension system with an Intel Pentium 3 processor and everything you see here for only $899. At a price that low, order two. Then you're sure to get some time online.
Good night, Daddy.
Hey, sweetheart.
The Lost Drive-In presents the story of Junior Johnson, whose kind heart and respect for others' cars inspired a whole new way to compete. Blame it on his dad. Hard Driver, Saturday at 11 Eastern, 12 Pacific.
Summertime. Yes, it's time for the Eastwood Insurance Sizzling Summer Sale. Save today. Call 1-800-468-LAST. Why pay more? Chill with Eastwood. Get the lowest down payment, the lowest monthly payment. Burned by a bad driving record? Ouch. Keep cool. Call Eastwood today. 1-800-468-LAST. It's the Eastwood Insurance Sizzling Summer Sale.
Be cool. Get Eastwood.
Call 1-800-468-LAST.
Welcome back to Lime Rock. Our Toyota Race Reset tells the story right now. Hugh Plum is your leader. He's led 18 laps. There was one lead change, and we have 8 cars out here. And, of course, the other leader was Neil Sapp, who has slipped to third. And we have ourselves not only a battle at the front, but a battle for third down the front straight toward Big Bend. And Fitzgerald now getting racy, Dorsey. He wants to get around Sapp.
Not many laps to go. Kevin Schranz made a big run up there, too. I don't know how he got that all made up. There's somebody going off the road over on the other side. But now it's a race. Between teammates or not, these guys are going for the best finish they can get.
Grant Lockwood, the red car, the Honda you saw pull off to the side of the track, did a nice job getting out of his way and well enough off to avoid a yellow. But at some point, there's Sapp again. Big loose.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The next corner is the uphill, and he's been loose getting in there, and that's something you definitely don't want. By now, Fitzgerald should have seen that. He needs to back off and get a run and get him where he's at his weak spot and try to get up alongside of him.
Well, you think if he could time it right and really get a drive down through the diving turn and onto that front straight, especially if Sapp loosens up, give himself a little room as Sapp again gets loose. This is going to be interesting. And Hugh Plum, Kevin Schranz has got it down, and Schranz gets a run.
Oh, they
Schranz gets a run.
Look at this.
They're bumping almost.
Teammates hitting each other in the straightaway. Petey Cunningham will be pulling his hair out what's left of it.
And a problem. That's Plum, and it looks as though he's pulling off the stop. And it may have been from
hit. Look at the right front.
Yeah.
I think they did damage to the tire. Look, Sapp is just hanging on for dear life. That BMW is loose as a goose.
Well, you know right now. That sounds very Andrew Marianish of you.
Well, thank you. I'll see him next week in Lamar there, unfortunately.
Oh, the frustration of Hugh Plum as he pulls off, and damage to that car apparently takes him out. Plum came into this championship in 7th. And let's check in with John Bisignano on the status of Hugh Plum.
Well, Hugh Plum is walking towards us. We'll get an interview when he reaches the pit lane. But on that previous lap where he went backwards so much, he missed the shift into 5th gear. He could have damaged the engine. And that's what has let his teammate get right up behind him. And then, of course, on the next lap in the exact same place, he even had a bigger problem. We'll get the facts to you in just a few minutes, guys.
Well, maybe as we have the white flag, Dorsey, maybe Plum wasn't blogging. Maybe he was trying to get to the pit lane and just didn't see Schranz take the run. We'll find out certainly, but we're on our last lap, and this battle is now for second, and it's even more important now for Sapp in terms of those points.
Sapp, like you say, is in 3rd in the points. He wants to hold on to this, but he's doing everything he can with a very ill-handling BMW. For whatever reason, Fitzgerald's car a little bit more neutral, and there's about a half a lap to go. If Fitzgerald's going to do anything, I myself would really run him hard into this uphill corner because we've seen the car very loose there. If he runs him in there tight, I think the car will get loose and could go up the inside.
He's taking a run now. Plus, there's traffic in front for Schranz, and if he gets bottled up, this could become very interesting. And I wonder if Sapp's on the radio begging T.C. Klein to ask Fitzgerald to just stay put and help him in the points here.
Well, watch this.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. There's the traffic. And if Schranz is smart, he's got a little room. Just take it easy, be patient, make your move. But Schranz looks like he's okay. The interesting story is that battle for second. Schranz has the win. And there's the checker.
We didn't see second. They're side by side now, but I don't know. It looks like Sapp held him off. It was awfully close, though.
Held him off by about 15/100ths of a second. Sapp over Fitzgerald. Taz Harvey comes through for fourth, a great run, and McCarthy from 14th to 5th. That is a great story, but up front, Kevin Schranz getting a bit of a gift from Hugh Plum, but it's not as if Kevin wasn't fast and wasn't there, and he took advantage of it. So Schranz wins it. When we come back, as we show you our top 10, we'll visit with our winner.
Every time you turn a page of Hot Rod, you'll feel the rumble of 400 horses at your feet. You'll smell the nitro burning. You'll see some of the sweetest rods ever and experience the power of the best articles ever written. Call this 800 number right now and we'll send you a free issue. Free issue when you subscribe to 1 year of the hottest, most exciting hot rod magazine anywhere. You'll find everything there is to know about hot rodding. Call right now and order 1 year of Hot Rod and reserve your free issue. Then strap yourself in for the ride of your life. Hot Rod. Call now.
SpeedVision is motorcycle headquarters. We race them, cover them live, and drive them home from work. And once a year, we invite the rest of the world to our little party. SpeedVision presents the International Superbike Classic, live from Laguna Seca. The world arrives at our door to challenge the best of the U.S. It's the U.S. Superbike Championships and the Superbike World Championships, live only on SpeedVision. Coverage begins July 8th, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's AMA Superbike Saturday at 5 and World Superbike Live Sunday at 2:30 Eastern.
The SpeedVision World Challenge is brought to you by SmithKline Beecham, the makers of Paxil.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, where what has become the norm for the SpeedVision Touring Car Championship. An absolute slam-bang, exciting battle has drawn to a close, and Calvin Fish is with our winner, Kevin Schranz. Cal?
Well, last year's Rookie of the Year is sometimes overshadowed by his teammates, but he was a factor here all weekend long. Great drive today.
Thank you very much. It was qualifying yesterday was incredibly exciting. I still can't get over that. And then once the race started going, I thought, you know, we have a pretty good shot at it, and it just got better as it went.
Tell us about the pass on Hugh. He seemed like he was having some problems the lap before, and then you got a good run on him.
He was. I saw him, some smoke was coming out of the left side of his car, and I figured it was tires, and I don't know if his fender maybe started rubbing the tire, but he started slowing down a little bit, and I knew he was going to have some problems, and so he was slowing down the front straight, and I was able to get right by him.
A tough day for real-time racing Pierre Klein-Oeming and Hugh Plum, but they worked on the numbers, guys. They came through in the end with Kevin Schranz taking the victory.
Well, and it was a great victory. And Dorsey, we were looking at a replay of that pass. That was awfully close.
Well, yeah, and it was unnecessarily close because his teammate tried to run him out in the grass and ran inside of his car, which you really just don't need to do last lap or not. Peter Cunningham now has to do some body damage that didn't need to happen.
Let's take a look at our unofficial full field results of the story we followed along. A good one. Taz Harvey, a great drive up from 12th to 4th. He continues to be a factor in the point. Terry McCarthy, 14th to 5th. Alderman Turner. Shauna Marinus, a great top 10 finish in her debut rookie season in the World Challenge. And right there in 11, Steve Lease again in that patented Mazda. They were the best of the non-BMW Acura contingent. They continued to do a superb job in developing that car. And we take a look at the rest of the field as well. A problem for Grant Lockwood late in the going. The battle for third for most of the race became the battle for second in the last couple of laps. And both of the combatants are with Biz.
They certainly are, and I got to tell you, Neil, you enjoyed some up-front running there in the early laps, but then it seemed to get really loose on you.
It sure did. After that caution, my lead evaporated quite quickly, and it was a little slick out there. The track got a little greasy. TC Klein prepared a great car for me. Tri-Point Engineering helped out. Just like to thank those guys for giving me a good car.
Congratulations. Mike, at one time you looked to be faster than your teammate.
Well, I raced Neil as hard as I could without touching him.
Well, I think that describes the whole race between these two, and that was the team rules.
Well, they played it out to perfection. The result, a second and a third, flushing out the podium. And Fitzgerald, by our reckoning, got fast lap at a 59.7. Next up is going to be Sears Point. That's going to be awesome as well. For Dorsey Schrader, John Bizignano, and Calvin Fish, I'm Greg Creamer. Thanks for joining us at Lime Rock. We'll see you next time. SpeedVision Touring Cars at Sears Point. Take care, everybody.
In the championship points, Neil Sapp moves into the lead. Will Turner's tied with Kevin Schrantz after being penalized 9 points for contact with Hugh Plum. Terry McCarthy receives the Borla Performance Award. The Tenacton Tough move of the race goes to Taz Harvey for making it through turn 1 at the start of the race and avoiding the chaos. Be sure to join us on August 19th from Sears Point Raceway for round 4 of the SpeedVision World Challenge. For all of your racing news, log on to our website at speedvision.com.